Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. We're delighted you could join us for this webinar. I'm Ed Engels, the coordinator of the Sportscasting Institute, as well as the new course we're introducing this year about television production and programming. We'll get more into that later. Joining me is one of the instructors on it, also a man who's had 2 terms now as the sports director of WRHU Radio here at Hofstra University. So he's got a lot of experience and also a mentor to these students. Kevin Dexter, thank you very much for being here.
Glad to be here, Ed.
Kevin, we're looking ahead to the Summer Sportscasting Institute, which is something I personally find very exciting each summer because you get a chance to meet some young people and older people and see their passion develop. And the thing you try to give them above and beyond teaching about sportscasting and broadcasting, you want to develop the young people, especially, confidence in themselves. Give them a feeling that they can do this, that they're confident in their abilities. The second thing you want to give them is the ability to be a better communicator, because in life, the second most important thing is your ability to communicate. The first most important thing is your reputation. But if you can communicate at a higher level, it allows you to perform at a much better level in terms of dealing with people, discussing your beliefs and feelings. So it's in that respect, even before we get into teaching sportscasting, Kevin, we want to give you something that's going to stay with the rest of your life. I've been around a few years, and I really feel like I've worked 55 years in this business. Some days it feels a lot longer. I had the wonderful opportunity to work for WCBS Radio. I've traveled to 35 Masters I covered 11 Olympics. I've covered numerous World Series. I've covered Super Bowls. You name it, I basically have covered it all. And so I've got a vast background in business. The thing that I've really enjoyed, though, is working with young people like you. I've had a good time working with you.
I hope you had a good time working.
Well, with you always had a good time working. Why wouldn't I have a good time? Work hand in hand with you as far as running the radio station in the sports area. I think the thing that we look at, let's take a look here at the teens course first. That is a 5-day, weekly-long course that you see. It's in its 13th year. And it allows us to bring in a lot of terrific people, as you met last year. We have people who are the tops in their business. We have people who have also come through the course and now have become teachers, a number of them too. And what we try to do in the classroom is give you a feel of all the things you need to know. You've got to be able to write in this business, right? You found that to be a broadcaster, you have to write.
You have to absolutely be able to write, because it really is essential in terms of also editing copy, in terms of taking a story, say an AP story, that you are able to turn into as a newscast that you do every single day and help all of us over at WRHU do in terms of our newscast.
Well, what you do, in addition, once you teach them how to write, we teach you then how to write a sportscast, a radio. We teach you how to do that. We not only teach how to write, we teach you how to broadcast it, and we critique your broadcast. That's the first thing we do. And that's done in studios, which are all modern equipment, as you know. And then we, in addition, start moving in other directions of television. We teach them how to do TV interviews, and we take them out in the field to cover different events. For example, we take them to the Long Island Ducks, which is a great opportunity. They get a chance to do play-by-play there. They get a chance to interview the manager of the Ducks, and they get a chance to do a stand-up TV piece. Now, when you look and see all these other things you can do, TV reporting, radio reporting, play-by-play, basketball, baseball, football, hockey, were you impressed how quickly the young people last year improved doing this?
You know, it's such an intense course, and over the span of the 5 days, you could really see them improve. And I think the most important thing, as you mentioned before, is the critiques, and be able to get it from other people like yourself who have done this before and really know what they're talking about, and able to take, especially the teens workshops, teens who are 14, 15 years old, who are really doing this for the first time. They come back for their second time taking the workshop, and you see the improvement in it. And it really makes me wish that this was something that I did when I was in high school, because I can only imagine how much better I'd be now if I put that time in and did it and took a workshop like this when I was even younger and still learning to develop my skills.
Well, you want to build a foundation,
right.
And that's what we're trying to do here. And along the way with all these things you see here in the course description, there's something else that's important. I want people to find their passion. What's your passion in life? You don't want a job. You want an adventure. And if you have a dream, you've got to let that dream live here in your heart. Don't be tell you can't do something. Nobody knows that until you try it. You found that out yourself.
100%. I've wanted to be a sportscaster since I was 5 years old, and now able to live my dream and learn from the best people. And that's exactly what you're going to be able to do here in this workshop.
Well, we'll get a chance to interview, in addition to the trip to the Ducks, to interview the manager. For the teens, they'll get a chance to interview a coach in the baseball team, for example. And the older ones, the teens were working, the older ones, the adults were working on some things that they can do in terms of interviews. And the good thing about all this is you get an audition tape.
Yeah.
Everything you get in terms of radio and TV, you get to keep.
And I think the most important part of being able to keep it, and one of the ways that I feel in terms of becoming a better sportscaster, is going back and listening to yourself and watching yourself. And it's not just getting critiques from other people, which of course is extremely helpful, but you can have you on yourself on camera and be able to watch, oh, I didn't like the way I did this. And next time you get to do it, you have a way to be able to improve yourself. And you know in your head, this is what I should improve because I heard myself do this wrong, or I watched myself do this wrong. And it's only going to help you improve by doing it that way.
You know, you have to develop a persona, a personality in this business. It's important that you become your own person, because so much today is driven by personality radio and TV. And it's really selling yourself as a product, as an entertainer, as an informer in terms of information. So it's vital that you find out who you are and how you're going to be able to make a living in this business, which is a vital part of it all. And you can see there the teens are the 9th through the 12th grades. We've had a number of teens repeat the course, take it 2 or 3 times. And it's intensive. It's all day long. I mean, it's actually 5:30 p.m. most days before we get out of there. And they come and they stay for lunch. The teens don't leave the campus. We serve lunch right there. Lunch is part of the program. What did you notice about the teens last year? You started to talk a little bit about the way they handled things. I was impressed by the way they behaved.
Yeah, I think so. You really don't know what to expect when you have, kids aging from, say, 14 to 18 years old in a room together. Sometimes it's tough to discipline them, but you have to remind them that you're the ones here. Of course, you're paying for the course, and you're here to get something out of it. So you don't want to be there to waste your time. And I think if someone really wants to do this, as you mentioned before, finding your passion, if this is something they want to do and they're exploring, if they want to do it, they will sit there and pay attention and take the initiative to learn and soak up all the information, because it may seem like 5 long days from Monday to Friday, 8:30 to, as you mentioned, 5:30, going at night to go to a different studio to do the sportscast. But in the end, it's really only that amount of time that they're going to have the experience to do this, and it really is an experience of a lifetime for those 5 days.
And they keep themselves really focused. And one thing we do that makes it interesting for us as the instructors is a lot of times we have 3 or 4 different instruction projects underway. We might have some groups doing play-by-play, another group that's rehearsing for a TV stand-up piece. We might have somebody finishing up their radio sportscast. We might have somebody else preparing to read highlights for baseball games on TV. So there's not much time to sit around and do nothing. We keep you going and we keep you moving. And I'm amazed that if you give young people, particularly, something that they like, they will be able to focus and work at it all day long. And they got the energy to do that, which is good too. So we're looking forward. The teens are always a great experiment. And the adults, a little different situation. That's 6 days, not 5 days. Again, you get the free lunch. Again, it's intensive all day long. And what we do with the adults, big difference with the adults, we try to judge at what level they're at so that we can tailor the instructions and the courses to how they need to grow in an area. And some people come in and say, well, I want to be a sideline reporter, which is fine. But you know and I know today it's going to take more than just being a sideline reporter.
Exactly. You can't I'm kind of losing the word, or point yourself in just one direction and kind of tunnel yourself into that direction. But I just want to be a sideline reporter. It's important, I feel, to learn all the different skills, and I think that's something that you do with the adults, because you have people of various different ages, people of various different skill levels, and I think it's important because we have so many instructors that we're able to kind of pair off, okay, these 2 people may be of similar skill levels, and they will work together, and you get a chance to do whatever you want. You get a chance to do play-by-play, as you mentioned before, of 4 different sports. You get a chance to do the TV side. You get a chance to do the interviewing side, and that's where you really can find where you're most comfortable and where you think that this is something that I want to do. Hey, I really enjoyed doing basketball. I'm going to pursue this and try to do it a little bit more.
Well, as you know, it's all about convergence today.
Right.
You cannot lock yourself. Years ago, you could say, okay, I want to do a specific thing. But today, you have to be prepared to open your window wide open in order to take in a lot of different elements. I always say the silent reporter, particularly women who say that to me because they look for that job. I say, you want to be more than that. You want to be an analyst. You want to be able to do sportscast updates. And maybe you're in a situation where you want to consider doing play-by-play. So the more things you can do, the more valuable you are and the better chance you're going to get in terms of making a living. In terms of what you're going to wear, it's pretty informal. We wear shorts most of the time. But when you're going, it's sweat day. A little cool. I'm bringing a jacket some days too in the classroom. But the big thing is that when you're going to do TV, we're going to dress you up with a shirt and tie and a jacket from the waist up. You can wear shorts and sneakers below that because you're not going to shoot below that. But so we want you comfortable. We want you to come in and feel like you're part of the family, and that's important that we make people feel very comfortable. They're working with a lot of different mentors, and the mentors now have had a lot of experience. We've done this. I've done this for almost 15 years of doing these kind of workshops, and so I've been able to get myself a real cachet of veterans who not only have experience in the business, Kevin, but they know how to teach people, how to treat people, and are really connected. And I see always look in the eyes of the people who are watching our instructors and see what's going on there. If their eyes are lighting up and they're intense and they're focused, I know I got the right person doing the job.
I think it's also very fun to do that, and I think it's fun being one of the instructors to see these kids grow and see them actually hanging by your word and interesting in what you're saying and eager to get better.
Now, we're also instituting a new course this year, which I'm excited about. You see Beyond the Camera. Basically, what we're seeing in the business these days, because of the technology driving the business, is years ago, somebody would go out to shoot a piece for TV, and they'd have a cameraman, a producer, might even a sound man, and a reporter. 3 or 4 people. Now you see, especially in the smaller markets, and not that small either. See it here in Long Island, for example. One person does all that. So I thought it would be a good idea to start to teach people how to do from soup to nuts. This is a very intensive, hands-on course. You're going to learn video production techniques, basic post-production, non-linear editing methods, electronic field production, used in electronic sports and news gathering, and basic writing techniques. This will be for both news and sportscasters. So what you want to do, you take somebody, you bring them in. First thing you teach them how to do an interview. Then what you do is you say, okay, now we're going to take you out in the field, and we're going to teach you how to shoot the interview with a camera and do the interview at the same time. And then when you're through, come back in, edit the tape you got, write what we call bridges for a package where you use the tape in your voice, put that together and record that, and then finally you're going to go on camera and anchor either a newscast or sportscast. What do you think about that idea?
I think it's a great idea, especially because the way that things are going in the field in terms of so much more web-based now. A lot of online websites, a lot of newspapers are moving more of their content to the web, and they're adding video to it. And you have to be able to, you could want to be a print reporter, and you need to be able to, one, write the story, but then, hey, it's about, say, a weather disaster, and why don't you go shoot some video of it, and then that video is accompanying what your voice track is, and you have to write the story about it. In terms of writing the actual print story, you have to write the broadcast story, so there's a lot of different things that go into it, and usually these big organizations now don't have the huge budget to supply those 3-4 people as we talked about before. So a lot of it is just going to be what we like to call a one-man band. You go out, you shoot it, you edit it, you write it yourself.
Well, they're going to gain experience in studio operations, learn how to operate both the studio and field equipment. And during the week-long workshop, each student will write, shoot, edit, and voice that package on camera. That's a complete video with, again, demo reel that you get to keep. So it's vital that you learn, and I'm lining up some really good people who have video experience to do that. Now, look at the people that come in here, and that's what I think really makes this course special. You'll see the names, Mike Breen, he's a voice of the New York Knicks. He also does the NBA on ABC. He's a tremendous individual. Mike was one of my first interns at WCBS. I'm very proud of how far he's come. Kenny Albert, of course, is Marv Albert's son. Kenny was another one of my interns at WCBS. He does a myriad of things. He does hockey with the Rangers. He does Fox football and basketball, baseball. Spencer Ross has been with us a number of times. Spencer's done everything in New York City sports. I think the only team he didn't do was the Mets. Every other professional team in town he did. C.J. Papa gives us a really versatile performer because he works both as a newscaster and sportscaster. Doug Morrow, outstanding award-winning producer and director. Len Berman. Lenny was, I thought, the finest sportscaster in television in New York for many years on Channel 4. He comes in and shares his expertise. And then we go over to ESPN. We got Freddie Coleman, who's ESPN radio host. We're going to bring in John Martin, who was his boss, is the ESPN radio program chief. John DeCepolo, we brought him, but John's out on the West Coast now. Barry Landers is, of course, the voice of Islanders best foot hockey for 17 years. He has been the voice of Long Island sports. He is the godfather of that. And you got people like Linda Cohn from ESPN. She would come down. And Mike Coleman has moved on to Kansas City now. But you work with those people. What did you think?
Well, I think it's something that, even being one of the instructors, it's something you'll learn from these people all the time, people who have made it to the top of the business, someone that I've grown up idolizing, Mike Breen, and being able to meet him while instructing other people in a workshop is something that's a thrill for me as well. You want to learn from the best in the business. That's how you're going to be able to get better in this field, and this is unprecedented to be able to come to a workshop like this, spend a week, and learn from people who have really made it and hear their advice, hear their stories, the struggles that they faced, and be able to translate that into hopefully making your career even better than theirs.
Now, these people will not be going to all these workshops, except Barry Landers probably go to all three, but they will be at one of the three workshops. Mike Bossy will also be the Hall of Fame hockey player for the Islanders. So we've got a real good cast of people lined up. We talk about, let's do the Long Island Duck trip. You take a bus ride out there. They've been very good the way they've treated us. As you can see, we'll interview the manager. And what they'll do, which is kind of interesting, is they're going to prepare to do a stand-up TV piece on the Ducks. And we're going to put them in the stands with a camera, with a microphone, and we're going to have our own cameraman. They're not going to have to do both, obviously, but the students will get a chance to do a stand-up piece, and we'll drop in, we'll take the interview, and we'll take a soundbite from that interview and drop it into their piece that they're doing their stand-up piece on, and give them a package on that. And then they get a chance to do live play-by-play. It's a mock broadcast of the Ducks game. Sometimes they do it in the stand. Sometimes we have room in the booth. We bring them up in the booth to do it. So it's really a big day for both the teenagers and the adulters in the sportscasting department.
I think it's a great experience because, when you do the sportscasting workshops, whether it be the teens or adults, what we often do is we'll take a tape of a game, sit there, and you'll do the play-by-play for a quarter, and then we'll critique you. But this time you actually get to go out to a live game, get that experience, and not necessarily know what's coming, because you might watch someone before you in the same class do the same play, and you have a chance to rehearse it in your head. Now, you don't know what's happening, so you have to go out there and call the game live, which is a cool experience for someone who hasn't done it before.
Now, the other great thing about all this is you're going to meet all these mentors here, the Breens and the Alberts and the Landers, et cetera, et cetera. And you're going to set yourself up in a situation, now you've got a little network going for you. Because the important thing in this business is once you get some talent level going for you, you want to be able to have some people to go talk to, maybe find a job. Now, I can't guarantee you, nor can you guarantee we'll be able to find them a job, but we'll help these people in terms of where they should go next to look for a job, and where we can, we'll try to help them find jobs. With the teenagers, we'll try to give them a plan for them to grow, what they need to do in terms of practice and what colleges to look at in terms of what that school should provide for them as a sportscaster.
As they say, it's not what you know, it's who you know, and being able to make connections with not just people like us and the other instructors, but the people that are coming to speak, like we talked about before, the Mike Breens, the Linda Cohns, and et cetera, that you hopefully be able to make and keep contact with them going forward. And when it comes time that you want a job, maybe they can keep contact with you and be able to help you out in that situation.
And they do. And you can see the discounts you have available. And if you go online, you'll see what the price of these courses are, and also how to get involved in applying for the course. You can contact June Mullen, but there are other ways too. I think you can do an application right online. So we look forward to having you, and I can't say it enough times, these informational sessions you can come to and learn more about. We keep them here from 6 to 7. Come to the station. We show you what the facilities are, the studios, the classrooms you work in. And I think you're going to have an experience of a lifetime. At least that's what, having it done all these years, that's what people tell me who come back who are in the business. We have a number of people who have taken these workshops. Tracy Wolfson will be coming in to be a guest mentor. She does the CBS sidelines on TV for basketball, football, and college play. She took the very first course, so she'll be here to explain to her how she developed as a broadcaster and what these courses meant to her. And again, I want you to find your passion. You don't want a job. You want to get in the morning and have an adventure. You're going to adventure every day with use it.
Every day is an adventure.
It's a survival some days, right?
Exactly.
For both of us.
Exactly.
So we're delighted you spent this time with us. Really, we're very happy that you took time out to listen to what we got to say, and we hope that we've been able to help you come to some conclusion as to what direction you may go in. And even if you don't sign up, we hope you've been helpful. We've been helpful in make some decisions about your life. But we think if you come here, I mean, it's been a game changer for some people, a difference maker, right? You've seen that.
I would certainly agree with that in terms of just seeing people over the week span, even if it's something that, hey, I just want to try this out for fun, right. They will notice from Monday to Friday that it is maybe something that I want to make a career out of.
And by the way, I have a great time doing it. So thank you. If you come, thank you very much.